Hello, my name is Rebecca Richardson, but most people call me Becky, and today I thought we could discuss just some of my thoughts about writing. Before we get into it though, I am going to mention that there might be a different thing going on with the screen in some way. Basically, I usually film on my big camera, however it's very old and the quality is horrific, like so bad. I edit and everything on my laptop and I watch it back on my laptop, so like I can tell the quality's off, but like I couldn't tell just how bad it is until I watched it on my big computer screen and was like, oh wow. So this is being filmed on my phone. I film vlogs on my phone, so I know that in general it's okay, but I don't know if the setup's gonna look different because my phone doesn't have the same like zoom that my camera has. So I don't know what this looks like to you, but to me there is a lot more space going on than there usually is, and I might have to crop it, so just if it looks slightly different, that's why. Although if it looks slightly different in a good way, please do tell me. Also, apologies if the light keeps coming in and out, not just because it's like almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so the light's kind of coming down a bit, but also because my camera naturally corrects itself on its focus, and as the light comes in and out and as I move, you'll probably see that the lighting changes ever so slightly. But yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way. Now the video. So I thought today we could discuss writing, and more specifically my thoughts on my own writing and some issues I have. The reason I wanted to do this video is because NaNoWriMo is coming up. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of over the month of November. Writers tend to aim to write 50,000 words within the month. There's like a Twitter account for them and everything. I'll link it down below if you're interested. But it's a general thing that's gone on for quite a while, I believe. However, this is my first year participating, and I'm going to be starting a new project. The reason this is quite scary for me is not just because 50,000 words in a month is a lot on top of everything else I have to do in November, but also the project I'm going to be starting is a book that I would one day like to be able to query with in the future. So there's a kind of a lot riding on it, even if it's only a first draft. I'm still quite pressured at the moment when thinking about it. I've been trying to plan it recently, as you know, that's what I'm going to be doing throughout October, hence the whole Preptober thing. And I'm having issues with the plot. The characters, absolutely no issue whatsoever, but the plot and my actual writing itself is giving me a hard time, and so I thought I might as well just rant about it at a camera because some of you are guaranteed to understand. I will start off by saying that I am excited to start this new project. It's set in York, which is one of my favourite cities, and I've been visiting there more frequently kind of leading up to it, and every time I'm there I'm like, oh, we could do things here and things can happen here, and I am really excited for it. You know, the first parts of it are set in October, funnily enough. It's set around Halloween, so I get those kind of spooky vibes, and I am generally excited for it and what hopefully it could become in the future. However, there is a lot more that I'm doubting going into it. This mainly focuses around the plot, and that is because I can't decide on a plot. I find this is mainly because every time I try to plan the plot, I tend to plan by just making a spider diagram, word map, yeah, word map first. That tends to be where all of the ideas come from, and then I start kind of colour coding it in order of like important plot points, but I am hopefully going to be doing a video maybe about that later. But this of course involves me actually writing down the plot, and I usually get through the word diagram stage and I look at it and I'm like, that's fine, that's great, and then as soon as I start thinking more about it, suddenly my brain's like, this is really bad, you can't show that to anybody. And I start thinking about what it would be like in comparison to books that have already been published. This is something that I do all the time, and I think it's something all writers do, is that I read other people's books, especially within the genre that I write in, and I think, I can't write like that. I'll never be able to write like that. This is like something I'll be able to write, not necessarily just in terms of writing style, but also the complexity that comes with the plots of some of these books. An issue I find I have is the way my brain works. I have to sort of have things very much in an order. Things have to happen one after the other. So I could never write a book with a complex plot that has lots and lots of different plot lines going on at the same time and all interconnecting and all that kind of thing, because my brain just doesn't work like that, and I find that I can't read books like that, or if I do, I don't really process what's happening and I finish it and I'm like, that was good, but I don't know what happened. So things like that do definitely stop me from wanting to move on with the plot, because no matter what I do with it, I look at it and I'm just like, that's not good enough. I think now I've rewritten the plot for my fourth book, which is the one I'll be writing for Nano, roughly 5 times over the last year. I'll plan it and then I look at it and I go, no, and we start again. The characters all stay the same because I love all the characters, I'm very happy with them, but everything else changes frequently. In fact, it's gone from being high fantasy now to being urban fantasy. At one point it was high fantasy with some urban elements, and then like the other way around, and now it's just urban fantasy. And that's like the smallest of the changes. I don't think there has been one set plot yet. Some things I definitely have down, such as specific subplots that need to take place. I know the beginning, I know the end, I just don't know anything that goes on in between. I just know there's certain things that have to be included. I just don't know how. Now I do think I'm getting closer to a plot, but I'm physically restraining from actually putting it on paper because I know as soon as it goes on paper, I'm going to look at it and go, that's not good enough, we have to do this again. I do know this definitely isn't something that happens to just me. I get the feeling that this is something all writers deal with at some point, but especially with Nano coming up and the pressure I suppose to try and get 50,000 words done, I am starting to look at it and think, you need to have this done by now, the plot has to be done, you've got to be planning it, and it's just not coming together. Other things that always concern me about the plot is I have this weird worry that it's too similar to other things, even though we're at a point where everything has already been written, it's just a case of doing it your own way. You will never come up with an idea that is completely 100% original, because there's already been so much written that it's just impossible at this point. It's a case of making it original by making it your own. There's something about my brain that won't click with that, and all I have to do is have like 5 main characters. There's 5 main characters in this book, and I find myself thinking, but there's 5 main characters in this other book I've read, therefore if it was published, I'd be done for plagiarism, even though that's not how that works. That's absolutely not how that works. Nobody can sue you because you have the same amount of main characters, but it actually holds me back. I'll think of like something that I would like to add to the plot, like fairies. There's fairies at one point in these books, and instantly my brain was like, but that has like the same as this book, as if there isn't a million books about fairies already published. You know, it's so unnecessary, but for some odd reason I can't get my brain to stop making that connection. As this month of October goes on, and in November as well, when Nano's actually taking place, I will be obviously in November talking more about these subjects, but also throughout October I'd like to make some more Preptober videos following my planning process and where I would like to be by the time I actually start putting things on paper in Nano. So this probably won't be the last time that this topic comes up, but I thought this would be a good starting point just to get like the negative things out of the way so I can go into the rest of the month excited to get on with the project instead of still thinking about all of this and just having it like up to my head in stress over it. There are some things I plan on doing about this. Of course, I am trying to stop comparing myself to others in every possible way that I can compare myself to other writers. I'm trying to take that step back because at the end of the day, everything I write is going to be different to what other people write because I'm writing it, not the other person. You know, my writing is never going to be the same as other people's, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's worse. And that's something I can say, but it's not something I can make myself understand. And that's something I'm trying to work on at the moment, is getting that into my head, that I can read books by other people and read like 5-star fantasy books and think, oh yeah, this is really good, without then having to think, but I could never do that. Specifically plots, I need to stop comparing them. I need to stop looking at my own plot line and thinking, but this isn't as good as other books I've read. It won't hold people the way that other series I've read have captured me. And it is something that I am slowly working on. This is my 3rd book. You'd think I'd be over this by now, but I think because this is a bigger project, because it's something that I would like to one day query to agents, I am very aware of what a reader would think about it, and therefore the kind of pressure seems to be heightened with it. I also think closer to Nano, I'm going to try just writing myself some little letters, because I know exactly at what points in the month I'll start to hate everything I write. And so I think I'm going to try that exercise where you write yourself positive notes to then show to yourself, like when I hit, you know, usually about 3/4 of the way through, I hate it. And at that point I can look at it and be like, hey, you're doing really well, like a little note from the past kind of thing. And maybe that will help, we'll see. But that's kind of my main thing. I think I need to be able to tell myself that it's fine, you need to stop comparing. I'm reading, there's 2 books I have planned to read in November, and I know I'm going to read them thinking, well, mine's nowhere near as good as this. My plot's nothing compared to this. And I think having just some confidence in myself, but also some letters to give me confidence, will hopefully help stop me thinking like that. or at least stop those thoughts from affecting the actual progress I make with my own work. That being said, I think that is it for this video. Like I said, it's not really much, just me kind of ranting about my thoughts on everything leading up to November. Hopefully it will be something that I can sort out a bit. I am going to be looking more at the plot this month when I get a moment and hopefully I can just shut off those thoughts and think, no, this is about my writing, I'm not comparing it to anybody else's, this is my story to tell, and therefore it's going to be different, but that doesn't mean that it's bad, I guess. Yeah. Please do comment below if you feel similar, or if there's any like similar writing woes you have at the moment, especially leading up to NaNoWriMo, because I do like to hear those and know that I'm not alone. And also I will be posting more Preptober again videos, and I will also be vlogging the entirety of NaNoWriMo, so if you're interested in seeing that, you know, maybe subscribe. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye!